What I want to ask you is what I find in my work is that everyone in the moment and everyone here today is uplifted and feel they can do this. And then they go back into their lives with their thoughts, and they still find that being human gets in their way. And the question is...
It's not so much the being human, it's the looking at what is, which is so compelling because it feels so real to you. Somehow you have to help people understand that, yeah, it looks like the real deal, but it's old news. The real deal's over here. Look this way.
I think for people who live very 3D lives, everybody's talking about getting into the 5D and ascending and getting into this vortex, but I think people find it overwhelming.
It can be. And that's one of the things that you all have tracted. So much stimulation of what is. You knew it was going to be fast movement. And the advantage of energy moving fast is that it creates big desires. And the advantage of big desires is that it summons big energy. And the advantage of summoning big energy is that more of it gets through. The statement that we like to punctuate that with is, if your desire is strong enough, it almost doesn't matter what you believe, if your desire is strong enough. Well, life just keeps amping that up and amping that up. And then occasionally you find yourself in a less focused moment where you let it in. And then those like us and those like you are able to offer clarifying words, and they're able to connect the dots. Oh yeah, I had an experience like that. I know what you mean. And then their vibration is in a different place. Their point of attraction is different. So you are different. When you step out into your world beyond the borders of this room, you'll notice almost from the beginning, your point of attraction is different. And as you notice that and acknowledge how that happened, that's what happens in the Taylor Swift concerts. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who went there deliberately to have a good time and expected to, who were transformed into the music. It's not difficult to let go of what doesn't serve you.
I'm finding that I'm attracting many young people to the seminars, and I'm fascinated by that. 18 to 25-year-olds that are demanding to be happy that this content resonates with. And I was wondering if you are feeling that in your talks, that you travel everywhere.
Well, the reason that the law of attraction gathers them up more easily is because they don't have so many years of resistance that they're defending. Esther was watching her grandson Luke and a friend of his who came on the cruise, and she was noticing how at every turn during the travel to and from, they were lighter and easier about it because they didn't have any real investment in it, and they haven't had as much experience when the flight was delayed. And then again, neither of them thought, oh yeah, we've had this before. The less baggage you're carrying, the less resistance you're overcoming. So that's part of the reason. People are ready when they're ready.
I think most people, or a lot of people, not in this room maybe, but are living a life by default, not design. And I find that just
it's
people...
because most people offer their vibration in response to what they are observing. And there has never been an easier to observe world than right now with all of your social media. Hardly anyone allows themselves a quiet moment that they're not receiving incoming. And when there's incoming, then usually there's response to the incoming. But it's all good. You knew that. You knew that when you came.
I think awareness by itself can transmute. And I think people, if they just, as you're saying, we're just aware of everything that we want, just the awareness alone is really crucial.
We would clarify that with just one way of looking at it. If you care about how you feel and are aware of how you feel, this is easy to do. But somehow you have to know that there are two aspects of you that are vibrationally playing off of one another, because that is what equals your emotions. That's what your guidance system is about. So if you can get that point across, because otherwise people are calibrating to too many things that are like moving targets. If you're calibrating to your husband, as wonderful as he is, and he croaks, you've lost your calibration. If you're calibrating to your mother and you grow up and she asks you to leave the house, you've lost your calibration. And most people are calibrating to something not long lasting. And so they're reaching for another and another and another and another. But when you understand that you are an extension of something that is stable and real and eternal, and aware of you and adoring you and rooting for you, and that every step you take and every desire you hold, that is being focused on by that other larger, more forever aspect of you, then you know where you're at all times. Then you always know where you're at. You always know where you are at in relationship to who you really are. We've been saying for a long time that your inner being knows where you are in terms of your physical becoming in relationship to everything that you've asked for, and is always calling you. That's what the path of least resistance is, toward this and this and this and this, not toward the end result right away, toward the path of least resistance, toward the idea that you are most likely to be able to receive right now, not the best idea that you'll ever have, but the idea that you are most likely to receive right now. And what we so want you to hear, and tell everyone that comes near you, what we so want you to hear is that is enough. It's enough just to feel a little better, because that's all you can do, and that is enough.